oppression of the Sith will never return. You have lost. No, you have got.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another 5-minute build, today focusing on Warlocks with the new Arc 3.0 subclass, making it possible to chain and spam abilities while building up an insane amount of super energy. I've tested this build extensively and I'm happy to report that it works great for both Legend and Master Nightfalls or Lost Sectors, pretty much any PVE activity or dungeon, and for the 4 of you out there, it's even amazing for Gambit. Now, I'm not going to say that I've made the perfect Warlock build that's going to work for everybody, but I think this build is super fun to run, allowing you to spam lightning across the map with infinite grenades, melees, arc souls, arc weapon explosions, and supers that last way too long, unleashing our true Sith Lord abilities. Our exotic for this build is one of the most recognizable currently in the game.
No.
We're going to be using Crown of Tempest, an exotic used in about 70% of Warlock builds this season, and for good reason. The main perk causes arc ability final blows or jolted kills to increase the recharge rate of our abilities, and that includes our super, producing insane amounts of ability energy and prolonging our super as long as we get kills. Now, for the subclass, starting with our aspects, we're going with Arc Souls, producing an Arc Friend when we use our class ability. And speaking of class abilities, the choice is really up to you. Personally, I prefer using a Healing Rift, since I tend to rush in and get myself into deep shit all the time. The aspect also causes our Arc Souls to become supercharged when we are amplified, which ends up happening about 97.5% of the time, making our Arc Friend insanely effective. The second aspect we're using for this build is Electrostatic Mind, where defeating jolted targets or defeating enemies with arc abilities create ionic traces, restoring our abilities and making us amplified. Just from this we can see the build has good synergy, but we're taking it further with our fragments. Spark of Magnitude will make lingering grenades last longer, paired with Spark of Shock, causing our grenades to jolt targets. We'll be coupling this with either Storm or Pulse grenades for maximum potential. Spark of Discharge will allow our arc weapon final blows to create ionic traces, giving us an easy way to build up ability energy. And for the final fragment, I'm running Spark of Focus. Sprinting grants class ability energy. This combination will allow us to spam abilities, but for the build to truly work, we need to add some mods, specifically Elemental Well mods, to give us even more passive regeneration. Starting with Elemental Ordnance, spawning wells when we get kills with our grenades, and Elemental Armaments, creating Elemental Wells when we get final blows with weapons that match our subclass, aka arc weapons. Speaking of weapons, there are many good exotic options to choose from, anything from Wrist Runner to Trespasser to the new Delicate Tomb fusion rifle. For this build I'll be running the Delicate Tomb since it has amazing synergy with what we have created. Traitor's Vessel, final blows of this weapon have a chance to generate ionic traces.
Good.
Tempest Cascade, collecting an ionic trace overcharges this weapon's next shot, jolting targets on hit.
Good.
If you're lucky enough to get the catalyst, you will partially reload the gun on ionic trace pickup, which essentially means you never have to reload again.
Good.
To boost our well production, we are also rocking Bountiful Wells, spawning an additional well for each stack of a mod we have equipped, and I've also equipped Font of Might, increasing weapon damage on well pickup. More weapon damage on Delicate Tomb means we can jolt and create ionic traces faster, in turn recharging our abilities faster and creating elemental wells, making for a great loop. Some other good mods I'm using include Grenade Kickstart, refilling a portion of my grenade on use, with Bomber mods, gaining grenade energy on Rift use, paired with Ashes to Assets, granting super energy on grenade kills, and remember our grenades last longer, generating an insane amount of super energy. I highly recommend you give this build a shot. It's extremely satisfying to spam lightning everywhere like a true Emperor Palpatine with infinite abilities, an insanely fast super recharge rate and duration. If you enjoyed this build showcase, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can catch my future content or my future builds.